So I'm Roland Lassiter. I'm here with Coach Baisa. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
Doing good.
Yeah, fresh
So
off of
kind of
first semester of college, huh?
yeah, shoot.
Yeah, good for
It
good
was
for you.
it was a struggle, but it went good. So
Hey, yeah,
excited.
it's always a struggle.
Yeah. So I kind of want to get in so how'd you start coaching and like why you started coaching?
Well, athletics and sports and all that always interest me. My dad always had us playing sports, and I had an
Mhm.
older brother that we just played sports all the time. I can't remember not doing anything, and I remember my dad talking about things when I was a kid that he had wanted to be a coach, but it never did pan out for him.
Yeah.
Um, and just hanging around. I had good coaches through my junior high and high school, and I liked it. And I don't know, it's always in the back of my mind. And I had an opportunity to help out a little bit when I was in college and student teaching and all
Mhm.
that. And the our principal at the high school at the time was Mr. D4, and he uh, he thought that if there's nothing wrong with a kid from Lordsburg that wants to be a coach to go help, and so he would let
Yeah.
me help with these. I help with football, I helped freshman basketball, and was always around track and just kind of being nosy and all that. And anyway, yeah, I just found out my calling later on.
Yeah, that's nice. Did you find it hard at first, like the balance between like connecting with the athlete and then also being like hard on them, like pushing them too?
Um, no, I really never did. Sometimes you think about it. Really, when you're doing all that, you don't think about it. You just you want kids to do what you want them to do, and you want them to do it the best way that they can. And
Mhm.
sometimes kids are reluctant to do stuff like that. Sometimes they just go all full out and do it without asking. And then everybody's different. And as you
Yeah.
get older and you coach longer, you get more experience, and you know how to deal with those things a little. At the end of the day, some things aren't as important as others, and it takes a long time to figure that out.
Yeah, so it just kind of came naturally for you.
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So, what did you coach fully? I know you're mostly known as the head football coach, but I know you also did track and then basketball too, right?
Yeah, I in my whole career I coached basketball for about 20 years. Some people
Oh
don't know that,
shoot.
but I coached some of your uncles in junior high and in
Yeah.
JV. Yeah, when I first came, when my first teaching career, my official first teaching job was in Douglas, Arizona, and Connie and I
Mhm.
had just gotten married, and so I was teaching seventh grade social studies at a middle school over there, and they had intramural football. It was tackle football, but we had intramural football, and I had one of the eighth grade teams. And so I coached junior high football, and then a good friend of mine we played against each other. That was from Deming. He became the head track coach at the high school, and
Mhm.
he asked me to be one of his assistants. So I became an assistant track coach. But before that, in 1977 and 78, we didn't have a. I was just going to college still. I didn't have. We didn't have a assistant track coach, and Ernie
Mhm.
Renteria, he was our head track coach. He asked me to help him, so I helped him. That's the days when Chano Talavera was a senior, and we won the state track meet. My first year
Heck
of
yeah.
coaching something, and then the next year I had already finished college, and I finished college in the first semester, so I was able to get paid and coach that next year, the 79, 79,
Nice.
77, 78, 79. Uh, anyway, but then I did coach basketball at the middle school for 5 years and did seventh grade, and then I graduated to the eighth grade a couple of years, and then there was an opportunity to uh, coach the JV, and I didn't know the head coach. I had known him a little bit in college. We had a new head coach,
Mhm.
and so he asked me to coach, and I did, and so I coached JV, an assistant varsity, probably from 1980, 87. When was it? 85, 86 to about I think to nine, 1999 or 2000. I don't remember the years. About
Okay.
14, 15
Nice.
years. I did get fired one time from the JV, and so I coached junior high girls with my wife, and then the next year that coach had left, and so I got my job back.
Heck
But
yeah.
I did that. Basically, yeah, I did football probably about 37 years, 38 years being an assistant and helping, and basketball about 20 years, and always been around track. I volunteered. They never seemed to be somebody to help with the discus and the shot put, so I volunteered doing that, and I was a head coach for the high school for a year or two, and I was head coach at the junior high for I think 6 or 7 years for track.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get on to more like some of your notable games. So when you first started coaching, like the biggest win that they always talk about. I know I don't know much about, but I did some research. You guys, the 9-8 victory over Animus. That was like one of your first. That was your first year as head coach, right?
That was my first year. Yeah, that was my sixth or seventh game of my career.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah.
How was that like?
Well, growing up here and everything, and I remember when Adama started the program, and ironically, our principal in 1990, Mr. Vance Lee Sr., he had started the football program in Animas. So
Mhm.
it was kind of, you know, a lot of connections there. But,
Yeah,
and everybody always made a big deal about the Animas streak, which they should, it was something fantastic. But for us as a group, as a football team,
mm,
that wasn't the the thing to do is to break the streak. To me, I told them the important thing, if we can focus on it, was to why don't we break winning a district championship streak? We hadn't won district maybe since 1978 or 79. I don't remember in football.
shit.
So, that was my focus. I said, you don't really need to worry about that. You guys need to shake those guys' hands, man. Okay, congratulations on
Yeah,
having such a long streak. You guys got a good team down, but let's go break this streak. Let's be district champions, and then we'll go from there. and
definitely.
um and I had
See,
coached
that's
those kids in the seniors and in JV and freshmen,
mhm.
and as I was assistant varsity coach then, and so they believed in me, and I believed in them, and we just had a good time. We had some good kids. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I talked to Louie Lazarus yesterday. He's
Oh
telling me a
yeah.
whole story for an hour. And he just said two Louis wearing number 11. And he has a specific memory that I thought was cool. He said that he used to be your counselor's aide and that you guys were in a conference call with the district. And everybody in the call was like, well, I guess we're competing for second place this year. And he said he remembers you specifically saying, what are you guys talking about? We're going for it. So I kind of
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
mentality. Do you remember that story?
Yeah. And I remember now. Yeah, he was my aide, I think, first period or second period, and yeah, I was a counselor too there for about 7 or 8 years, 10 years, I don't know how many, and at the high school, and I did 3 years at the junior high too. But anyway, yeah, it was a call with the well, I can't remember who it was, but everybody was on the Animas bandwagon except us, and
Yeah.
yeah, they said we're not gonna back off. We're not backing off. We're going, and see when Louis was a freshman, uh there were about 5 or 6 kids that played freshman football, and then they played JV football the same year, and because we only
Mhm.
played like 4 freshman games and maybe 6 JV games, and then they suited up with the varsity and got a little bit of playing time. But that was the only team, the freshman team, or it was really a C team. We beat Animus in their C team, and it was the
Mhm.
first loss they had in a long time in any. So they already knew that we could beat them, and we knew that we could beat them, and or it was out there, that we didn't
Yeah,
we couldn't back off because it was kids had confidence.
definitely. That's what he said. He said that they had confidence knowing like that they felt like they were gonna win coming up to that game.
Yeah, it was yeah.
So is that kind of when the Black Magic defense started?
I think they started it the year before, maybe
Mhm.
2 years before. I think the year before because I didn't coach the year when Louis and those guys were juniors. I had enough of
Mhm.
when I had bad experience with the whole team, and not bad, but I just it was time to move on and do something
Yeah.
else. And our head coach Travis Lee had gone to silver, and I decided, no, I'm not. I'm just going to concentrate, and I want to be a basketball coach. And we got a coach from. They came from. I guess he had been coaching in Alaska, but I'm not sure. And he was from Michigan, and it
Mhm.
was he had a hard time here with the kids and everything, and he got let go in May, and uh, Mr. Lee asked me if I knew anybody that wanted to coach uh, football at Lordsburg, be the head coach, and I raised my hand. He was just talking to E and I said, yeah. He said, let's go talk to Mr. D. So we went to the superintendent, and
Yeah.
and kind of got hired right there like that. And it was and I really don't regret not coaching the year before, but uh, it worked out for the best, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we'll move on to the next biggest game, the 2006 game, the home championship game. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna just ask how it was leading up
Um,
to it.
we had as an assistant in 1986, we had a real good team. Coach Newell was a junior, and I think your uncle David was playing, um, we had some good teams. I think we were 32-6
Oh
in
shoot.
the 1980 80s so football seasons of 86, 87, and 88, something like that. So I'm sorry,
Mhm.
it's 1987 football season, and we had lost to Animas during the season, and I don't remember if we had lost to somebody else, maybe Cobra, but we had a good team. And anyway, so we played in the state championship against Animas, and they uh, they beat us here like 36-0 or something on a
Mhm.
Thanksgiving Day of 1987. And so maybe it was 80. I don't remember, 87, I think. Anyway, so I did have that experience. And then in 2003, we played in the state championship at Hatch, and it was a really ugly
Okay.
day. And there was, they tried to create a little bit of uh, I don't know, distractions and stuff, and they wanted to play at noon. We wanted to play at night, and we ended up playing at 4, and it was like 50-mile-per-hour winds. It was an awful day, and
Oh,
I
shoot.
thought we were prepared, but we went over there and we didn't play well, and we got beat. So I had that under the belt too, 2 losses. So we went in
Mhm.
2006. We were playing at home. We were fortunate that we played. Uh, I think we played all our state games here in Lawrenceburg, and that was a plus. We've been traveling all over the state for state, but we played here. And when Santa Rosa was, I had heard one of my friends from over there said that the coach thought that that was probably the best team that could run his offense the correct way or the best way, and that so we were ready for it. We were in uncharted territory, and we had a good
Yeah,
team too. And we just we made the plays. You got to make plays, and
definitely.
had a little bit of luck, but we made the plays, and kids were fired up. We didn't get I remember some of the assistant coaches. They were really, really, on the sideline and stuff. Say, hey man, let's go,
Yeah.
let's have fun, and it was a lot of fun. But that was a big win.
Yeah,
That was big.
definitely.
Yeah, that was a real big win. At 54-yard field goal, and we
I
kicked
was gonna ask you about that. So
the
you
where
said
we
you got to
kicked
make
the
big plays, like the 50-yard field goal. How was that? Like, who decided to do that? Was that you? Was that the players forcing
well.
you to do it?
Ultimately, yeah, but I had to get tucked into it. But we had kicked one earlier in the game in the first half because and talk about big plays. And if I talk to the kids now, and even if it was on my team, and about they're going to the championship game or something, I said, things have to happen. You have to make big plays. Your stars, your stars that you have, the big players,
Yeah,
they have to play
they have to show
that
up.
way. But those other kids, the ones that are the unsung heroes, they have to make a play. They're the
Mhm.
ones that need to go make plays. And you know, people don't realize it, but I told this kid, it was the first drive that Santa Rosa had. Uh, they're driving, and uh, they their back went like 50 yards. He just went boom. I said, God, he's going to score, and that would have been tough. Anyway, Sean Lindsay, he's one of the inside linebackers with Jesse, and he
Mhm.
just took off after him and tackled him on the 3-yard line. And
Dang.
for not giving up, and I don't know where he got that speed that day, but he got it, and he caught him, and um, he caught him and tackled him like on the 3-yard line. And from there we held, and they ended up having to kick a field goal.
Oh,
And so
nice.
that was, to me, that was the play of the game in a way. It just
Yeah.
started that way, and then we came back and we scored. We kicked the field goal also, so it was 10-10 at the half. And I remember at half we telling the kids that they were a championship team, and I said we're a championship team, and
Mhm.
we're going to come out and play. Well, my motto was always 48 minutes of football, not
Definitely.
47 and 30 seconds. It's 48 minutes of football, and said they're going to come up and play the last 24 minutes. They're going to play hard like we are. They're a championship team, and we're just going to have to
Mhm.
take it to them. And everybody is fired up and paid attention and did all that. And then I don't remember how we got the next scores and they scored whatever, but we well, they didn't score anymore because it was 10-10 at the half. The Another big play was I think sequence, and I didn't realize it till I did the stats the next day or two.
Mhm.
Right before the third quarter ended, they punted to us. 'Cause it was just 3 and out, 3 and out, punt, 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 and they punted to us. And I think Sean did a fair catch at the 7 yard line, and we ran a play for 7 yards, and we made it. Ran another play for 7 yards, and the time expired. Okay, so the third quarter was
Mhm.
over, and anyway, so we ended up getting the ball back, coming towards the north. Then we had the ball on the, let's see, 21 yard line, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we started on the 7. We ended up scoring a touchdown. So it was a 24 play drill. We had the ball for 24 plays. Santa Rosa didn't get the ball again till there was about uh I don't know, a minute and 56 seconds left. So we had a
Yeah.
24 play, almost 12-minute drive, and that never happened to them. And but
Yeah.
that 24 plays, we had a first and we ended up fumbling the ball and we getting it, and JC jumped on the ball, and we had muffed handoffs and everything, and ended we ended up getting a first and 10 on the 9, and we ended up kicking the ball on a
Mhm.
first and goal on the 9th. We ended up kicking the field goal, first fourth and goal from the 34-yard line or whatever it was, the 40-yard line. We just kept on
Yeah.
going backwards. We got sacked, we got fumbled the ball, and anyway, so we were going to punt, and we called the timeout, and Jesse came over to the sideline, and we were talking, and he says, "Coach, let me kick a field goal." I said, "No, it's just punt it. Let's punt it." I said, "We're ahead 13-0. We'll hold him." I said, "No, Coach, let's kick it. Let's kick it. Let's punt it." I mean, he said, "Let's kick a field goal. I can kick it. I can kick it." I said, "No, no, no." So called another timeout, and or that's one timeout. I don't remember what. And so I said, "Oh," and then he says, "Coach, if I don't make it, they still get the ball on the 20. They don't get it like at the NFL." And I said, "Yeah, I know
Uh-huh.
that, but so they'll still have to go 80 yards." I said, "Okay, go ahead and kick it." And they kicked it, and
Yeah.
my thought process was punt and hold. And he made it, and I swear the ball went this way and then up, but it just and the funniest feeling I've ever had, and not funniest, but strangest feeling I ever had in a football game in my life, is that the Santa Rosa fans were packed in that stadium on the other
Mhm.
side, and everybody's cheering, everybody's standing the whole game, nobody sat,
Mhm.
and the ball went to the goalpost, and you could just feel the energy get off and go poof in their sideline. They did not. They just kind of took their wind out of them, and I've never
Dang.
experienced anything like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
we held, and they ended up having to pass, and Brendan intercepted a pass, went for a touchdown with a minute and something left, and ended up so we won. So it was a big game, and it was great.
Definitely. That's crazy. Because I had asked T Ray the story, and he just said that he was nervous, but he said since Jesse was confident, that it gave him confidence that they were 50-50 on the handle with the ball. And then he just said that like that day, just everything went perfect for that
Every
kick.
Yeah, yeah, most everything went perfect. Of course, we had made mistakes, but like I say, guys made plays. The
Mhm.
guys, the unsung heroes, the line that they just little guys making plays on that. We had some smaller guys on playing the line, and some of them, and just kids make plays. Tommy Ray was was not a quarterback, but I told him, if we're going to win something, you're going to have to play quarterback. And he was
Yeah.
reluctant at first, and he didn't get to play his junior year, and but when he was a sophomore, he was one of the best running backs in the state.
Mhm.
And the next year, as a sophomore, when he was a sophomore, the next year when Tommy didn't play, Brendan was one of the best running backs in the state. And he said, "God, I got the two of the best running backs in the state at the same position because I had Jesse at fullback." And
Yeah.
so he had told him, Tommy Ray, I promise that you'll get to run the ball as a quarterback. Because we're running the wing T, and he said, "Okay." But
Yeah.
anybody else that I had trained at quarterback, in their mind, they could run the left to the right and switch the formations and run him back and know what they're doing. Anyway, Tommy made some mistakes, and instead of running the play, let's say we went to the right side with a play that we usually run to the left, he went the wrong way and didn't know what. Jumped around back there, tossed it back to Jesse, and we were like 20 yards, and little things like that that played out. And but
That's
that
cool.
was a That was a big turning point. And anyway, Tommy Ray did a great job for us. He's an athlete, you know.
Definitely. So what would you say is like what's the right group of guys to have a championship team? Because like there's
Well,
always that sense, like like, oh, this is a year, this is the right mix, but what kind of makes that mix?
sometimes here in Lordsburg, and I'm not cutting anybody down or anything. Sometimes
Mhm.
you don't have enough kids
Definitely.
to get a team. That you want to play some. And then you have to have some size, a little bit of size, because
Mhm.
all these other teams, man, they got some big old dudes. Santa Rosa
Yeah.
had, oh man, they had some big dudes playing. They had 200. They had two JC Darnells playing middle linebacker. Their scheme, and they were good. And we have to be tough. And
Yeah.
I think that experience goes a long way. And the kids that you have that played varsity for a while,
Mhm.
I think there's never we've had good teams that towards the end of the year we start getting better. When we've had teams with towards the end of the year we kind of fizzled out. And in the small schools, Skeeter, where we like it or not, it also depends on how good the other team is.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes they have their banner year and we don't, so and then you're in trouble. Yeah, but
Yeah, for sure.
hopefully we tried to do the best we could for every game. And that's we ended up where we're at.
Definitely. So how was it switching from the wing T offense to now running spread? Like, was that a big adjustment for you, or you knew you had
Oh
to
yeah,
change?
yeah, we didn't have to change, but it was the right move at the time.
Mm.
We kind of started a little bit a couple of years before with some other assistant coach that came and helped us, had played football at Western. And they had coached a little bit at Silver, and they had some schemes going. And then we had another coach the next year that's all they did before, where he was coaching. And it turned us on a little bit to some of this stuff. And then I researched the internet and see what's out there for some sources. And I talked to coaches and
Mhm.
all that. And uh, what I did, for we did. But if we were going to do that, we had to go jump in. We had to jump in it and we didn't forget about the wing, because we did have some few plays, if you remember.
Yeah.
Because but we didn't run it as good as we did before. Uh, of course, some people that say that we didn't run it good anytime, but that's okay. But Johnny had a good arm. And we had quarterbacks that could have handled that in the years past, but we never really even crossed my mind.
Mhm.
Uh, so I had researched some stuff. And there's a where we could get plays and look at them and adjust them to us, and had videos, and just researching. And so we did some stuff that I already had. We did some stuff that I had logged onto, and see what kind of system, how to call the plays, how to so I incorporated two or three different things and made it uniquely for us, with the way
Yeah,
we
made
call.
it
You remember how we
yours.
call plays, and one word plays. And we could, the first game we played at spread, I think we surprised everybody, and especially Wilcox, because we were running like play like every 10 seconds we were running.
Yeah.
And we were scoring. And uh, I was able to train Johnny Plowman as for the 3 years. And so it kind of became a coach on the field with running the plays. And sometimes most of the time he made adjustments and stuff. And that's how it ended up.
Yeah. So tell me about the 2016 year. Did you know like because I remember you saying like his history will repeat itself because I remember especially in Anthony
I,
when
uh,
we had
oh yeah.
lost it was rain
Yeah,
delayed at like the third quarter.
yeah, it's kind of like Yogi Berra said, it's deja vu all over again. um in 2006, the first championship year, we went to go play in Anthony. And we weren't playing well, and they were good. Don't Anthony? Sometimes they were like us; they had real good team, and sometimes they were mediocre.
Mhm.
Just depends on how many kids, just depend on what the kids you have. And
Yeah.
so we were playing well. And I think we were down maybe two touchdowns with maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes left in the half. Or um, so it started lightning. and we weren't going to win that game. They had it cranked up, and
Yeah.
uh, so the referees called the game. And it rained and rained and thunder. It was not so much the rain; it was a thunder and lightning. So
Mhm.
the referees called the game off. So we went, tucked our tail under their legs and came home. Went and ate pizza and cruces and came home, and then regrouped. And from there we 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 played well the rest of the year. And 2016, the same thing happened. I remember Raymond got hurt with his hip, and somebody else was hurt.
Mhm.
We already had gone in there injured, and
Yeah.
we were playing freshmen and the defensive back. It was going to be a long day, and they were very good, and they had revenge. It was from the year before or 2 years because we beat them pretty good the last few years.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the lightning and rain started, and uh, coach, their coach and I were talking. He says, "Coach, the referee told me too. They had, the radar you get on your phone where you can see all the rain coming. It wasn't going to stop. It
Mhm.
wasn't going to stop till 3 or 4 in the morning." And the referee says, "I don't think we're going to get this game." And we were in there for about an hour and a half waiting
Yeah.
for the call, and so the referee decided that we're going to call the game, and it's going to be a no game. And so that's fine. We're going to win that game, and what's going to
Mhm.
happen? We were going to get more kids hurt. And their coach told
Definitely.
me, "You know what, coach? We've got two of our starters already hurt. You've got three guys hurt, and I'm glad this game's not going to go on." He said, "Because you were going to get more kids hurt." He said, "I was going to get more kids hurt." So anyway, the referees made the right call, and so that ended up uh, not being a game, and it didn't count as a game. Just
Yeah,
but it
definitely.
was eerily ironic the way it was 10 years later.
Yeah. So when we played Fort Sumner in Fort Sumner, did you know we were gonna win? Like from the jump? Were you nervous?
um, Not at the game. I was nervous. We had to play Escalante first, and
Mhm.
we hadn't played well against with when everybody came back from injuries and ineligibles and stuff. We hadn't played well against Hagerman, but we won,
Yeah.
and we were healing up and all that. And then we went and played we played Gel at home, and we played well. And then we went to Escalante, and they had them and Fort Sumner are the ones that had been winning the state championships the last 4 or 5 years in that class. So that was to me the big game because we had to. It's hard to get in a state championship game, but anyway, we went and
Yeah.
played well. And then against Fort Sumner, we had all their videos, and I kept on watching. And says, "Man, these guys are good. Man, they're good. Man,
Yeah.
they're good." And so were we. And so I was we just had to make sure we got our ducks in a row, and we had to play well, just like when you're going to win a game, the kids got to make plays. You know,
Definitely.
but
Yeah, I
Fort
remember
Sumner
you
had a
always say,
great team.
yeah, I remember you always say since we did travel all those games, you would always come and tell us like you either win or lose the game the night before. It's like
Yeah,
don't lose it.
yeah, yeah. In the hotel, it's yeah, that's a scary part, taking kids on a road trip and spending the night. But I think the kids took care of their business. Fort Sumner is good. But Skidder, I think that one big thing that happened there, uh, the 2 years before, we were the smallest uh, double A school or triple A,
Mhm.
whatever it was. In the class that we were in, we're the smallest one by far. There was double A schools bigger than us that were playing in the lower class,
Yeah.
and we had a tough schedule. Tula Rosa, Cobra, and all those. We had played Estanza the years before in the playoffs, and so when we were in Class Double A and we went down that one class, we were still a Triple A team because that was our nature. We still played Cobra, we still played, and
Yeah.
I think
You guys
that
still played big.
yeah, we still I think that had a lot to do with it because Santa Rosa or Fort Sumner wasn't used to that, especially Escalante. They weren't used to playing the schedule we did, and to us it was you know
Normal.
normal. And I think that was one of the big things that really helped. And everybody came to play, and we played good. It was nice going over there and playing. And I had a good friend that he already passed away, but that started the program there
Mhm.
to become a good program. And anyway, I wish we would have played here in Lawrenceburg. That would have
Yeah.
been nice, but it didn't
Would have
happen.
been
And we had a
crazy.
good crowd. But that was a good kids. And if you remember, you were in junior high we lost to Estancia twice in the playoffs, and we had good teams. And
Mhm.
one year Johnny didn't get to play because he had hurt his knee, and then the next year we just they were good. Estancia was better than we were,
Yeah, I
but
remember.
and the second year, the first year, I don't know, we had a chance to beat him, and things just didn't work out. It was that's
Mhm.
the way it goes. But I knew in my heart that you didn't have to have too much motivation for the seniors because they already went through this and they were
Mhm.
determined, and I could tell. Then we remember we couldn't chase you guys out of the weight room, um,
Yeah, I remember
and
one story. We were sneaking into the weight room, and you got mad at us because you're saying like for us to do it the right way and go in.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. And then people don't realize that uh, that's when they were remodeling the high school and remodeling or building the high school, or what were they doing?
Mhm.
Remodeling
They were
the gym,
remodeling the
and we
gym.
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't have a weight room per se. We had the weights in there. We didn't have lights. We didn't have water, no
yeah,
bathrooms, nothing. And you had a little doorway that we could make. We couldn't go anywhere, just the weight room. And I told kids like I had done a few years before. It says, don't complain, just do it. You don't complain
yeah.
about the situation. You just go do it. Years before when they built the first field house that night, where we're at, right, we were before.
Mhm.
We didn't have a we didn't have a, a locker room. We didn't have a Uh, so the field wasn't ready for the first game. We had to play out of town for our first home game. I think it was at Duncan or
Yeah,
Morenci. We didn't have a locker room. I told kids, don't complain. I don't hear one iota.
yeah.
Nobody say one word about what we got to do. Okay, so every day I borrowed my dad's truck. For the season, I go get water and ice or just ice from McDonald's. They gave me a jug of ice. I had my tape and my training kit in the truck. So I parked the truck at the Dugan field. The kids would go home and from school and change over there, bring their practice stuff,
Mhm.
and I'd tape ankles right there in the truck. And then after that, we'd go home. For the first few home games, when we finally played home, we met in my classroom at halftime. The opposing team, of course, went to the gym, and it was that's the way it was. Nobody complained because and we had a good team. And um, I remember the first the first time we dressed out in the locker room that you were in.
Uh-huh.
It's brand new, and kids are just standing there, just looking around like this. And it says, well, because from where we came from before, that you ask your
Yeah.
uncles about it, the locker room we had underneath the bleachers. There was mice, there was cockroaches, there was spiders, there were snakes, bats, bees, and nobody ever got hurt. But it was pretty bad, and
Yeah.
but we really deserved to get that upgrade, and but that was good.
So, and I guess the last questions I kind of want to ask you is like, how are you so well known around New Mexico? Because like when I was in Socorro, I went to go get a coffee from the coffee shop, and I ended up meeting the head coach from Socorro, and instantly he's just like, "Oh, you know Coach Baisa?" Like, quick, instantly he knew. Oh yeah, Coach Baisa. He's just talking about how good you are. Like, how did that happen? It just happened
Well,
naturally.
well, I've been around for a while, and
Yeah.
like I said, I started 1970, 77, 78, and I don't know, it was just one of those things. Like I said, coach basketball, and you go out
Yeah.
of town. People in the district you go to Dexter tournaments and other places, and you meet people. And then I was a head coach. Once you're a head coach, you kind of get a little more status than an assistant, because
Mhm.
one of my former coaches that used to coach here, Coach Lee from TRC. I said, Coach, this
Mhm.
guy never talks to me. And then I became the head coach, and he says, beat their ass one time, see if they don't talk to you. Anyway, so it wasn't like that, but it was I became good friends with a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
being around, my wife and I ran the AAA All-Star football game at Western for 7 years.
Mhm.
And so, we become known that way. We go to our coaching clinic every year. You just be friendly, talk to everybody, and
Yeah.
you win some games. And um, I was the group I came in with as a head coach. I was the youngest of the guys, and those other coaches retire, and then younger
Mhm.
coaches come up, and I don't know. I just you just And then being in a coaches association, on the board of directors, you kind of get a little bit, not more clout, but you're a little more well known, and it's
Yeah,
just the way it
definitely.
happens. And you just be friendly with everybody. Just that's my nature, I would think, and uh, talk to everybody, and um,
Just network.
it just yeah, you just I don't know. It's kind of cool. Yeah, because I know a
Yeah,
lot of
it
people.
is
I know a
cool.
lot, a lot, a lot of people, and
Yeah,
a
because
lot of
even
coaches do. Yeah.
my sister said when she started coaching for that little bit of time, that when
Oh
she went
yeah,
to the coaching clinic, that instantly everybody was like, "Oh, where's Coach Baisa? How's Coach Baisa?" And I just think that's
yeah,
so cool. Like everybody know you.
yeah. And well, that is it's that it means a lot to me when that happens, and it's just
Mhm.
that's a good feeling for me, and it's good, and sometimes I feel a little dejected because they'll ask for Connie first instead of me.
That's
But that's the
funny.
way it is. I'm just being silly. But
Yeah.
that does happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you ever miss coaching at all? Or
Oh yeah,
you good?
I miss it. I miss it every day. The thing, I miss the kids, uh, and the relationship with the coaches. I miss the kids.
Mm.
And actually, I thought I'd never say this, but the last couple of years, I missed the grind. The getting ready for
Yeah.
the games, and but I was wearing everybody out. I wore myself out. Because I did. Uh, well, you watch a lot of video, and we practice. We do the
Mhm.
weights. We're in the weight room all summer. We're in the weight room off season. I was helping with track. I was the AD,
Yeah, kept you busy.
and get busy, but I do miss those relationships with the other
Mhm.
coaches. I miss the competitions, and I think the what I miss, other than the kids and relationships with the people, I miss the tactical stuff. I try to beat somebody else, and you're getting the plan ready, and how
Yeah.
you're going to beat them, or what they got to do to you, you're going to do to them, and because I did spend, I guess, all my career, I spent all that Saturday getting ready
Mhm.
for the next week, and then we'd usually go to church on Sunday morning, and then after lunch, I'd watch video and do all that again, and then sometimes, and then Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and the early years, especially, I would go to bed till 2 or 3 in the morning watching video, and I'd fall asleep
Dang.
and watching video. So later on, when we ended up getting the huddle program that we use, everybody uses now for scouting, it became a lot easier, and
Mhm.
I became smarter, and I became more efficient, and um, the coaches helped a lot. Then I have a lot of respect for all the coaches that coach for us, um,
Definitely.
and I hope that they had a good experience, and and without the assistant coaches, everybody, all the different coaches, they do different things with the kids. I don't even know. Maybe they talk to them. Maybe they tell this guy something and makes him do better. Maybe
Yeah.
and it was good. Yeah.
That's good. I think what else? I think that's about
Yeah.
it.
I'll say one more thing, that
Yeah,
since
no
we're on
problem.
here, I think that a lot of people or coaches, they don't want to coach in their hometown, and it's
Mhm.
hard for them. Um, and I think that was a big plus for me and my family,
Mhm.
because a lot of them were relatives, a lot of them are Connie's relatives or friends, good friends, whatever, kids that I coached, and um, just being from here kind of helped. I think kind of helped me a lot, and
Told you.
yeah, we took a lot of razzing when we lost, and parents get mad and they yell stuff,
That's one
and
thing I was gonna ask you. Was it hard? Like, did people treat you different when you were having a losing season versus the winning season?
oh yeah, and I know who all those are, and that's the
Yeah.
way it is. That's what fans are. And one time, I think in the 80s, actually, it was a basketball coach, a college basketball coach, talking about stuff like that, and he says, these guys, they pay their money, they go watch their kids play, or they just go watch the team play. They want to win. They just got off a 12-hour shift. They don't have a day off. They got to go work in the morning. Maybe they had a beer or two. Maybe they're not in good graces in the family. Maybe they're having trouble at home with this, so they go to unwind at the game, and they yell and they say this and all that, or maybe that, different. Everything's different for everybody. Their lives, right?
Yeah.
So they go to the game and they want to you know, they want to win and you don't, and they get mad. And he says, and I kept that philosophy. He says, don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. You worry about it when they quit going to the game. That's when you worry about
Yeah.
fans. When the people quit going to the game, then
Uh-huh.
you're off the deep end there.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
no, it was good. My hometown. That was my goal. My goal when I first became the head coach was to win a state championship in football for Lordsburg, because we never had in whatever many
Yeah.
years. I think the program started in 1927, from what I understand. And that was my goal, and uh, we had a good career. There was a lot of help. It was a community effort, a whole school-wide effort. People
Hmm.
in transportation, the people in cafeteria, the people in the teachers, the town, the churches, and everybody gets behind, and it's hard to win and to beat. And it's a it was a blessing for me to serve my community in that respect.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. That's what I wanted to. And I was a
Yeah.
head coach 27 years. And this doesn't sound good. I was a head coach 27 years, and 25 of those years, we didn't win the last game, or we didn't win state
Dang.
championship. So, but we won two.
Yeah, but
And
not
we
many
we
coaches even can make it to that far too.
yeah, that's
So
yeah, and then we won. Out of those 27 years, we won 14 district championships. And went to the
yeah.
playoffs 22 times. There was 5 years we didn't go to the playoffs.
Hmm.
And of course, there's coaches out there. Not many, but there's coaches out there that got. Our teacher coach, he's retired now, but he had 15 or 16 championships, and there's some that have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. But you don't count. You just
Yeah.
respect them, and they respect you, and it's a it's a good life. It was hard, uh, and you have to have a lot of support from the community.
Hmm.
And I really appreciate all that community support. Even when we weren't winning and people would yell, blah, 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 this and that, that's fine. Community support from my family, support from my family, and especially all the work the assistant coaches did. Because let me tell you about that 54-yard field goal that Jesse kicked.
Uh-huh.
Another story there. Uh, Coach Plowman and Coach Greg Martinez, they were both cops. They were policemen and they couldn't get off of work till 3:30 or whatever.
Hmm.
And Coach Culberson was teaching elementary, and I told him at the beginning, Coach, when you started coaching in 2002 or three, he says, I said, you take care of those kids at the elementary. You take care of your classroom, pat them at the back, stay after school with them, do whatever you need to do. Don't worry about football till you're done over there, because that's what puts food on the table for you, is not football. And
Yeah.
so we'll get started when everybody gets here. And the other two coaches, they couldn't get here till 4 o'clock sometimes. So at that time, we had probably like, I don't know how many kids, but I would tape like 12 to 14 ankles before practice. Some of them
Dang.
got one, some of them got the two. And so I'm in there I don't know, remember what time we got out of school, maybe 3:15 or whatever. So I was in
Hmm.
there for half an hour taping ankles. And then after we won the championship, we kicked those field goals. And uh, I think Scotty Esquivel, he told me, hey, coach, it says, remember when you were in the locker room taping? We're out there, we're all kicking field goals. Jesse always make those. He always made those. Is I can make him from 48 or 50, and so can make him from 38, and he never misses. And everybody kicks field goals. Coach,
Yeah.
we got all kinds of guys that kick field goals, and I didn't know that. And I think Scotty had said he could even kick one from 50 yards or something. I don't remember the number, but they were all. That's
Yeah.
what they did, and they kicked field goals, so they knew they were going to make it. They could make it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
At least they use their time wisely instead of just
Oh yeah,
laying
at
back
least
in the
you're not
locker
messing
room.
around. Yeah, yeah, and it's a scary thought when you've got I think we had like 36 kids, 32 kids out there on the field on their own, and you're in there taping ankles, not knowing what's going on, and it's not good. It's not good to do that, but that's the way we had to do it. And kids took care
Yeah.
of their business. They understood, and
Mm.
like your freshman year, and those guys, the seniors, they knew what they had to do, because they didn't need any motivation. They were already motivated by losing the semifinal games to Estanza.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it was they did the work. And I really appreciate that. They instilled that in you and some of your colleagues,
Definitely.
Cody and those guys. I was too bad you guys got hurt in your freshman year, but the weight program, the running, doing the weights, and and there was a big push there from we just did it pretty well.
Yeah, showing us the workouts, what to
The
do.
workouts, and I remember back in when Raymond and Raymond and Johnny and Jacob and who else, Hondo and all those guys were freshmen. We had
Mhm.
Adam Murillo was a senior, and Adam was awesome,
Yeah.
and he to me I take credit. I give him credit for showing those guys how to play football, how to you don't he showed them, hey, this is the way you do it, and away we go. So I gave him a lot of credit for doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Has it been different kind of since there's no season so far? Have you been kind of sad like there's not been a bunch of people parking in your front yard?
Well, yeah, it. I miss the traffic. I miss. I really miss people. Uh,
Mhm.
I, it's just my wife and I here. We're right now. We're both into the helping our parents quite a bit. My
Yeah.
parents aren't. Yeah, they need a lot of help. So Connie's over there half of the day, and seems like when she's there, I'm here, and then when she comes here, I go help my mom and dad, especially my
Mhm.
dad, and so that's what we've been doing for quite a few years. More intense now.
Mhm.
But I hardly see. I go over there to my parents' house about and stay 2 or 3 hours at a time, 3 times a day. Get home about 1:30 or 2 in the morning.
Mhm.
Uh, but I miss the kids. I feel bad for the kids that don't get to play, and like you guys didn't get to
Definitely.
your true graduation, didn't get a prom. Um,
Mhm.
but if think about it, some people lost worse than that, and
Yeah, that's what I think about usually.
this year's been, I've got two grandkids that are first graders doing
Mhm.
Zoom meetings or school, and one in Las Cruces, one here. And then my eighth grade
Yeah.
granddaughter, she misses sports. She wishes she was been playing volleyball, and hopefully I'll get to play a little bit in the spring. But yeah, I miss the games. I miss people. I miss my colleagues.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the way it is. Soon we'll be out running around again, and uh, that's the way it goes. And I'm still involved with the coaches association. I was the board of
Mhm.
directors for 7 or 8 years, I think, or whatever. And then you just end up, if you win your election, you end up being the uh, future president one year, and then you become the president one year, which was my last year. And you run the meetings, and all the meetings except since March we had to do them on Zoom, and my
Hey.
term expired August 3rd. July 31st, we had our last meeting. And that's usually when we have our
Mhm.
coaching clinic, but we didn't have it this year. And then so I become the past president, and I'm past president, so I'm still part of the association. But my term
Mhm.
on that will be done in at the end of the summer this year, and I won't be, let the other younger guys get in there and do their thing. And but
Mhm.
it's been good. At least I have that going for me. Not for me, but we have something different going on. I get to talk to the
Yeah.
other coaches and network, and but it's been difficult for everybody. For us, maybe not as that part not as bad because we're with our folks all the time. We're a lot, and
Yeah.
we that's this time we're not out there, uh, whatever. But yeah, it's tough for everybody. Some have it worse than others, and it's
Definitely.
I worry about kids like you that go to college, and because you never know what
Yeah.
18, 19, 20 year olds do. Because I was 18, 19, 20 years old one time, and sometimes you do things that are good or right, or but
Yeah. Especially everything being
as long as
online.
you don't get as long as you
Gotta
don't get in trouble.
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Mm. But that's it, Coach Baisa. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.